Okay, so like clockwork, Apple announced a bunch of new products last month on its awe-dropping event. We got the redesigned Pro iPhones, a killer new base iPhone, a new Pro AirPods in 3 years, and also a few new smartwatches, including the Apple Watch Series 11. And as I was closely following the keynote, despite my eyes and my entire body begging me to go to bed, I already knew that the Watch Series 11 would be the biggest bummer of the night, because if I were to just talk about everything that's new here, I would be done under a minute. Ready? So there's a new color option called Space Gray. Its cellular model now supports 5G. The Series 11 also has like 33% longer battery life. I'll get to that in a bit. And the display on its aluminum model is now 2 times more scratch resistant, and that's it. I realize Apple talked about a couple of new health and fitness features like hypertension notifications to go with the latest smartwatch, but what you need to know is that literally all of them are coming to older Apple Watches as well with the Watch OS 26 update, including last year's Watch Series 10 and even the 2-year-old Watch Series 9. I am honestly a little surprised that Apple is giving away new features to old watches, because locking new features to new devices only sounds so typical of Apple, right? But I guess miracles do happen. Anyway, let me now ask you this. Are any of those upgrades I mentioned tempting enough for you to pick up the brand new Watch Series 11? I know it's a definite no for me, especially after considering the price difference between the three of them. So the Watch Series 11 starts at 46,900 rupees in India, while I'm seeing the Series 10 on sale for just 33,000 rupees these days, with the Series 9 going for 5,000 rupees less, making it a particularly hot deal despite its age. And I'll say this right away, yes, none of those upgrades on the Series 11 are worth throwing away that much more money. It's really not. If you want the best bang for your buck, go with the Series 9. It's as simple as that. Or I guess a few things like a slightly larger display, faster charging, and improved microphones are totally worth spending a couple of thousand rupees more for the Watch Series 10 as well. Now, before I go on any further, I just want to say that the Series 11 isn't a bad smartwatch by any stretch of imagination. Apple's been making smartwatches for over a decade at this point, and I doubt they could come up with a truly terrible one even if they tried. No, it looks so chic, it feels so comfortable to wear, and this is easily among the best you can get for all of the standard smartwatch stuff like delivering notifications or keeping an eye on your health and fitness routines. The performance is not a problem here either, with the same old S10 chip inside, whereas the Series 11's display is about as good as it gets as well. I don't even think I need to get down to the specifics, because this watch literally has everything that you would want from a flagship smartwatch. And some of those upgrades I mentioned before genuinely make wearing the Series 11 a little more fun, especially that improved battery life. Apple's Ultra smartwatches are still the only ones with a multi-day battery life, but I've got to say, this thing's getting real close too. Let me share my exact timeline of how the Watch Series 11's battery would last me throughout my day. So I usually like to charge it during the day when I'm at my desk, since I don't want it dying on me when I'm working out later on or at the middle of the night. And after I take it off with 100% power at 5 p.m., record a 50-minute workout with GPS, wear it to bed for sleep tracking, I usually woke up with like still 55% juice left. I'd also get at least a dozen notifications throughout the day, and going through it all once again, the Watch Series 11 would finally give up at around 12 p.m. the next day, which puts its total runtime at an impressive 43 hours. I know that is so much more than Apple's 24 hours claim, but this has always been the case with Apple Watches. Apple always under-promised and over-delivered when it comes to battery life on its smartwatches, because even the Series 10 or the Series 9 that are supposed to last up to 18 hours can go a day and a half quite easily. Oh, and its fast charging ability that gives me almost 80% battery after plugging it in for like half an hour means that I never really had that battery anxiety with this guy either. Whereas that 2 times more scratch resistant glass on its aluminum model is also a welcome upgrade. I mean, yes, I obviously would love to see Apple make sapphire glass a standard across the entire lineup instead of it being such an expensive upgrade, but I'll take it. Okay, so what about all the new health and fitness tracking abilities on the new Watch Series 11 then? There are exactly 3 of them, and like I said before, they are all coming to older Apple Watches as well. So the first one's called Sleep Score. The Watch Series 11 can now score my sleep habits based on things like how long I slept, how consistent I was with my bedtimes, how often I got up, and what my sleep stages were. Now, I've seen a similar feature in practically every smartwatch that I've tested in the past few years, although I really love how Apple went a step further by breaking down my sleep score into even finer stats so that I have a clearer idea of how well I slept. However, I have to let you know, and I wasn't expecting I'd be saying this, but the Watch Series 11's sleep tracking has been a bit iffy for me actually, because it's been wildly, and I mean really wildly, over recording my awake duration on more than one occasion, which hopefully I hope gets sorted out with the next update. Anyway, the Watch Series 11 can also inform me if I show signs of chronic high blood pressure, aka hypertension. Now, before you get the wrong idea, I should clear up that it cannot measure your blood pressure level like Samsung's Galaxy smartwatches or the new Huawei Watch D2, which is literally a medical grade BP monitor. This one, it silently works in the background, and I simply get a notification in case it detects signs of hypertension. That's it. This is honestly such an important health feature since hypertension does not even show any obvious symptoms for most people in real life. The only problem is I don't have it on my watch for some reason. I've updated to the latest iOS and watchOS and still it does not show up, and it seems that I am not the only one because I've seen a bunch of users online who say they can't access this feature as well. Finally, the Watch Series 11 even brings a workout buddy, essentially my hype man, as it gives me a brief insight into how I'm doing during my workout, although it sucks that it only works if I have my iPhone nearby and if my iPhone supports Apple Intelligence. But what sucks even more is that to me, Workout Buddy feels severely undercooked right now. All it does is alert me if I hit my certain targets and also provides a brief summary of my activity rings and exercise history at the very beginning. And that is it, which gives me the perfect transition to wrap up this video. And let me say it again, the Watch Series 11 is pretty disappointing. This is literally the easiest review I've had to do because I feel like I've been testing this thing for more than 2 years now. The Watch Series 11 is so freaking similar to the Watch Series 10 and the Series 9 before it that I'm wondering if Apple should stop yearly releases for its smartwatches at this point. Even Apple's Ultra smartwatches have been a victim of this lazy update cycle, giving old Apple Watch users very little incentive to buy the new one. So just do what you did with the AirPods Pro 3 Apple. Take your time, bring out meaningful upgrades, both in terms of hardware and software, because let me tell you, the new watchOS 26 isn't that exciting either, despite its shiny liquid glass makeover. And it's not like the consumers haven't noticed this lack of innovation since Apple's global smartwatch shipment has been declining for 7 consecutive quarters. In fact, Huawei managed to surpass Apple as the world's largest smartwatch maker for the very first time recently. And if those things don't sound the alarm at Apple, I don't know what will. What are your thoughts on the new Watch Series 11? Feel free to discuss in the comments below. And like always, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.